actually out there in Boerne? It has been raining a lot here in.
We're about to get a little bit warmer. It is a beautiful, something like 72 degrees right now.
That is
Cloudy
nice.
skies, kind of humid. We're just getting over the little rain that we got from Tropical Storm Beta.
Yeah, ours looks like the south of England right now. It's
y'all got it. I saw it like 20 inches of rain in places. Wow.
We like it. Okay, so we are going to be live now. All right, so everybody, welcome to Tilson Homes. We're on Facebook Live and YouTube Live at the same time right now. That's right, we can be at least two places at one time, thanks to the person we're always joined by every week, and that is Dawn Dantzler. Say hello, Dawn.
Hi, everybody.
So Dawn will be moderating our chat. If you have questions at all, please ask them, because we have a very special first-time guest today to the Tilson Homes Facebook YouTube Live world, and that is Mr. Juan Carlos J.C. Arocha from Boerne, by God, Texas. So J.C., say hello to everybody.
Good morning.
So like I said, J.C., while he's new to this program, he is by no means new to Tilson Homes. So I would like for you, he's just been buried and inundated with work and hasn't had the time to join us, which is a great problem to have. So J.C., tell us a little bit about yourself, about your journey, what brought you to Tilson Homes, and what you like to do here.
Sure, yeah. No, I've been with Tilson Homes now. I just celebrated my 5th anniversary back in August. It's a dream job. It really is. I get to make dreams come true. I tell people now that I really don't even sell homes anymore. I help people figure out how to get it done. The homes are gorgeous. They sell themselves. Our program is amazing. It sells itself. It's really the biggest part of my job as an advisor, as trying to help people figure out how to take that dream they have and make it happen. Just like the Canales family, they walked in one morning, actually on their anniversary, and they bought a home. And then it took us 3 months to figure out how to make it happen. We turned it over to Ty, who's an amazing builder, and now you've seen the picters. They got to move in.
And we are going to go check that thing out here in just a second. I do like the folks. He's not a bank robber. That black bandana is for safety, of course.
Anytime anybody walks in, I got to pull it up.
So that's awesome. Appreciate that. And so like I said, JC is at our Boerne, Texas location, just northwest of San Antonio on I-10. So you can see him there. Again, put all your questions in the chat. Don will be helping moderate that. We are going to take a look at the customization of one of my favorite floor plans, because we've been building this home in some form or fashion since 1993. This is the Nottingham. So we're going to take a look at this Nottingham. We're going to see some things that the Canales family changed about it, that JC walked them through. But without further ado, JC, tell us a little bit about the Nottingham. Of course, it's a model home in Angleton, Texas. Tell us a little about this home. What led the customer to this, and where were they moving from? Where are they going to? And tell us a little bit about this Nottingham. Take it away.
Well, Ben and Janice work for the VA, and they've been here in San Antonio forever. They found this beautiful piece of property down in Victoria, Texas, along a 2-lane road with just a group of neighbors. They fell in love with it and started developing it a little bit at a time. They put a metal building up there. They drove a camper down there. They've been clearing it and just getting everything ready, and they're working their way toward retirement. And they wanted a modest little home, something that would still accommodate family gatherings. That's why they went with this open concept. We took out a small wall that separated the dining room for them to kind of customize it. They've got a great life. I met their grandkids when I handed them over to Ty. So it was just a matter of finding the right home for them and then making the changes that was going to make them happy in what is now their forever home.
For sure. So some of the things I like about the Nottingham, as far as efficiency of space, you're going to have a hard time finding a more efficient, what could easily be a 4-bedroom home, 2,000 square feet, with a formal dining and separate breakfast nook, nice master suite, split floor plan. It's just one of those plans, and like you said, the gathering area that folks, I know you've seen our plans. The dotted lines indicate there's no wall whatsoever. So really, this entire area is wide open, which is really, really appealing for most of our customers who, of course, like JC said, they're living out in the country and kind of have people over and want to take advantage of the views of their land. So So tell us a little bit about what you did to make it their own.
Well, I mean, again, if you look at the original Nottingham, the gables are over on the other side. So we kind of, aside from just flipping the plan and making it fit on their lot, we moved the gables over to the other side. We created that beautiful wraparound porch that, again, it's all about country living for them and being able to walk out and have your coffee under the porch and listen to it rain. So we managed to make that happen. We always work really closely with our drafting department. I'm calling those guys all the time as we're working through to make sure the roof line is going to work and it's going to be pleasing, happy looking from the outside. It was a matter of, like I said, opening up that dining room area and not separating it from the foyer. This is a great house to have family gatherings in. The uncovered porch on the back is going to be great for barbecues and again, just kind of sitting there summer days, or even in the winter.
For a second. So I know they changed the, looks like they did away with some of the stone on the front and did more of that board and bat hardy. That kind of accommodate a little more craftsman and country feel. And then I cannot wait to get to the floor plan changes because everybody asks us about wraparound porch, and you kind of skimmed over it almost subtly as if it's no big deal. But I promise you, to our audience and our fans and our viewers, a wraparound porch is no small thing. People are all about that. So I want you to walk us through kind of what led them to that and how you accommodated that without blowing the bank. So let's get right to the floor plan. Take us through these changes kind of around the horn. There's 8 or 9 that Dawn has done here. If you just walk us through these changes, and folks, post your questions. We'll pause here in a little bit and answer some questions. So please post your questions in the chat, and we'll be happy to answer them. Take us around the horn here, JC.
So the Nottingham starts out as a really kind of modest plan, has a modest appliance package. One of the big things they did was go with the alternate kitchen. And then they changed their appliance package. They wanted wall ovens instead of the standard, standing range oven. So we got them a cooktop in there. We, adjusted the microwave in the vent hood area. We got them a little island right in the center. It was a matter of working through all that. Then we kind of just moved around the house. We got them the drop zone, which opens out into that wraparound porch.
Nice.
We created a nice little bench seating area between some cabinets in that drop zone. So Ben could come in after working out on the lawn and doing what he does and take off his boots. And that all just kind of worked out for them there. We moved over to the master bath. We moved the bathtub. We enlarged the shower.
Look at that. How big is that shower? Does it say 58 by 55 or something like that?
Yeah. It is a large shower. Nice, again, Ben's working hard out on that land. So he just needs to get in there and relax.
Right, hose off.
Because Janice is right next to him. If he's pulling something, stump out of the ground, Janice is probably,
that's too low.
So they're always out there making things happen. To accommodate all that, again, we made the study just a little bit smaller and then accommodated a closet in there. It was a matter of just cathedraling the ceiling in the family room. If you've seen the pictures out there, I'm sure we have some in just a minute here. It just created an amazing effect to kind of open up the whole house.
Most definitely.
That's kind of the focal point. You walk into their foyer and you see that cathedral ceiling. That just kind of lights up everybody's world. Back porch, we added that uncovered patio on the back porch where, again, I can just imagine the family barbecues out there.
Yeah, for sure. So tell us a little bit. I want to talk briefly a little more about the wraparound, because a lot of folks feel like when you say a wraparound porch, it has to go all the way around the house, and it really doesn't, right? To achieve the look and tell us about maybe why we did this instead of going all the way around with it.
Kind of that is in budget. I mean, every family that's where we are. Again, they're moving toward retirement. They're modest people. They worked hard all their lives. And this gave them the look without blowing the bank.
Sure.
4 or 5 feet around. And that's just kind of, some people they see these designs, but porch is priced at about $50 a square foot. So we can get you to a point where it's going to be beautiful, it's going to be useful, and it's going to fit your budget. And that was a big thing with Ben and Janice, was giving them this look, giving them the feeling, being able to walk out, like I said, walk out and listen to it rain, watch the sunrise and be under cover of porch.
And I see we bumped up from 2,000 up to about 2,200 square feet, and I'm guessing the bulk of that is right here through the breakfast kitchen utility room. It appears. Is that right?
True.
Okay. Yeah.
The drop zone adds a little too because it pushes the bedrooms back.
There we go. Okay, so the bedroom 2 bucks back to add this drop zone. So that's just and most of these are just custom options that are on the website, which is really nice. So guys, you can hop on the website and see that. So what we want to do, Donnie, we want to pause and either address any questions or answer questions.
We really have just one comment right now that we haven't addressed yet. Melanie is saying basically she has a request. So maybe you can tell us if we can accommodate this. She'd like a dressing table outside of the bathroom for the ladies and wants her kitchen cabinets to go all the way to the ceiling.
Oh, okay. So yeah, definitely. I don't know as far as dressing table goes, if that's just a piece of furniture that she's after or something in the cabinetry, but if it's cabinetry, we can certainly accommodate that. And then cabinets to the ceiling. Now that's certainly something we can do. Most of the ceilings in our homes start at kind of 9 feet, particularly in the kitchen area. So you would probably end up doing another row of cabinets above those, particularly if you start getting the 10 and 11 foot ceilings. Most cabinets are not taller than about 42, maybe 48 inches tall. And so when you start to go above that, you have to put cabinets above cabinets. And you can see where we've done that in some of our plans. But yeah, we can absolutely do that. I think there was something about the same builder. I did want to address that. If you can put that on there.
Yeah, I don't have that available to public.
Okay, so there was a question that said if we were building in Victoria County, will we have the same builder? And the answer is, probably so. But what we do is we look at the workload. We really have it depend on the building superintendent's workload. What we don't want to do is, because we may have 2 guys. I don't really feel like Victoria is one of those borderline places, but there are obviously places where we kind of draw a line loosely to where we split up the load for a builder so that, if we have one builder that's carrying 8 or 10 jobs, another one's carrying 12 to 14. And they're close by, we're going to try and shift it towards that one that's not carrying as many so that they can have more attention to the home. So most likely it would be the same builder, but it wouldn't be 100% until we get real close to construction. But we can typically accommodate that, right, JC? I've seen a very rare instance that we can't. So
yeah, well, I mean, Ty was their builder, and Ty is amazing. He's an Aggie.
Not that we're all partial, but every now and then.
No, he always gets some of the greatest compliments. He runs jobs well. He's incredibly personal. He takes very good care. Anytime I hand a family over to Ty, I know they're going to be well taken care of. And I've had people request him, and I know that we work to do that. Again, as long as he's not totally overloaded. But I haven't seen him overloaded yet. He's an amazing builder. He really is.
Very cool.
Very cool.
So,
and we seem to have woke everybody up.
Oh, good. Do we have any more questions?
They realize that we actually are going to answer their questions.
Awesome.
Lupe is asking if we know the approximate ballpark cost of adding that wraparound porch.
Okay, that was just under 500 square feet of porch. So it was 481 square feet of porch that we added to make that happen. You can generally ballpark porch at $47 to $50 a square foot, depending on the ceiling height. So at about 47 times 481, you'd be looking at about $22,000, maybe $23,000. I
was gonna say, yeah, somewhere between where you're building, somewhere between 25 and 30,000 would get you a real good. Definitely cover it. Get you real good. Great question. Thanks for asking, Lupe.
Yeah. And then 3 Little Brothers over on YouTube are asking if we could build everything that the client wants in their lakefront property, asking about things such as outdoor patio with kitchen, a pool, walkway to the lake, retaining wall, boathouse.
So the short answer is no. There's some things on there that we just don't handle. Swimming pools are one of them. The outdoor patio and kitchen stuff, we actually, depending on where you are, we can get vendors that'll help us out with that. Boathouses we don't do, and then retaining walls we'd want to hook up with the engineer, find out exactly what has to be done. So now what we absolutely will do is help you site planning, site preparation, how it's going to impact the overall performance of the foundation long term, those kinds of things. We will not just can help you with, but we want to be heavily involved in that and give you some feedback. And then, but the few of the things, mainly the boathouse and the pool, would be things that we would definitely rely on a third party to get done. It's just not things that we specialize in.
Okay.
Great question. Thanks for asking.
And then Melanie has some clarification on her requested dressing table. So what she's looking for is a desk-like table that's outside of her bathroom for putting on makeup and doing her hair. And she would want a mirror wall with lights on each side.
What do you think, JC? Can we do something like that?
Yeah, I think we can have. I mean, if it's cabinetry, yes. I mean, we're working with Kenmore Cabinets. They can do some amazing stuff. It might be something custom that we have to get a price on, but we can definitely work with that. I've done things where either you have a row of cabinets or drawers on each side to handle all of your makeup stuff, or I've also done just kind of straight countertop with just a knee area underneath. And mirrors, no worries. I mean, it just where you want to tell us what kind of lighting, we can figure it out.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thanks, Melanie.
Then Texan Jim Bob is saying he's interested in the Travis plan, but doesn't see any photos on the website. Is there anywhere that there's some completed that he can visit?
Dawn, will you please answer Texan Jim Bob?
I absolutely will. So we do not have any that are completed that can be visited. That is a newer plan for us. But we are working on some computer magic to render the interiors just like we've done the exteriors. So you'll be able to take kind of a full tour of what that home looks like. So I'm hoping to have all of those launched before the end of the year.
Yes. And then as we get them done, as we get like a Travis close to being completed, we can send our marketing team out there if it's something fairly close to a stock plan, and we can Matterport it. We can do the virtual tour. We can and certainly take photographs. So we're always on the lookout for that stuff. Dawn's got a very secret high speed back door into the database where she can see where houses are in construction and find alerts to go out there and do that. So
yep, Brett gave me the password, so now I'm a dangerous person.
Oh, fantastic! They don't give me passwords because they know I will break it. So I'm pass. There's not allowed.
I try not to touch anything.
Appreciate you, Jim Bob. Thanks for asking.
Thanks. And then Sweet Daisy has given us a wonderful segue. She's asking if we can show this house in a walkthrough.
All right, so we're gonna head that way. Kick me off the screen, Dawn. Let's get JC in the front of this beautiful home back on there where people came to see. And JC, take us away. So these are the exterior manifestations of your changes.
Yeah, so again, we moved the gables from one side of the house to the other. We created that nice front entryway. The gables have that beautiful, a lot of people call it a crow's foot out front, and then it kind of wraps around. Nice accents like the window headers, the hard, the rough cut cedar. The shutters are just amazing, give that home that charm. Again, we went with the board and batten, which is the modern country farmhouse look. That is Hardy board, so that is a concrete product. It's going to last forever. It's guaranteed by the James Hardy Company. We went with the wainscoting. In one of the previous drafts, the wainscoting came up higher and didn't make the shutters viable. So we lowered the wainscoting down below the windows to give it that clean look, and then just brought it all inside. So it's just a very inviting place when you see it. This thing has curb appeal, although they don't have.
It's beautiful. It's very rare that you see a wainscoting and a shutter. So I really like the way that y'all were able to accomplish that. And we see some double floods there. We sometimes get questions about floodlights on the exterior. You can see the hose bib coming out there, probably the water stub, and then as well the gas stub over here.
Right.
So now tell me, when we look at this other side of the house, just the wraparound porch.
Bringing them around the other side, yes. And again, there were a couple of challenges here, like you see their electrical connection there. We had to bring it in and actually do conduit under the porch and bring it up and be able to mount it there on the side of the house. The door into that drop zone area there toward the end of the porch, again, just makes it really convenient for Ben to come in and get himself cleaned up before he messes up the rest of the house for Janice.
Beautiful. And then what are we looking at here across the back? Look at that family room windows. My gosh.
So across the back, we went with just the standard lap Hardy in the back, but we gave them this big patio on the back where they're going to have, picnic tables and all sorts of stuff to go on in the backyard. They've done a lot of clearing of the land over the years to kind of open it up, and it's got a very park-like feel to it. So I imagine there's going to be some great stuff going on back there.
And I want to kind of go and point out something to folks while we're here, pop back real quick, because there may be questions about the electrical service. And of course, again, guys, if you have questions, post them in the chat. We will get to them. But this house, they didn't do an attached garage. So this is where the service is on the house. And we didn't want it to be in that front bedroom. You don't be looking at that at the breaker box in there. Plus there's some code issues to work with there. But you can see they have a building already, which is why they didn't do a garage, which is about half of our customers have some type of a metal building or outbuilding that's already there that they're going to use. So just wanted folks to, if you got questions about that, feel free to ask. We'd be glad to answer them. Now take us inside, which is what everybody came to see. Tell us what's going on in here, what they do on flooring and stuff, and let's go.
So again, you're going to notice, first of all, there used to be just a half wall that separated the foyer from the dining area. And Janice wanted to open that up. So we got rid of that half wall. We gave them credit for that, kind of opened up the whole area there. The flooring choices, they went with let's get down to the flooring that they went there. They went with vinyl. That is a luxury vinyl plank. Okay.
Yeah.
They went with in most of the house. We have 4 levels of vinyl. In different price points. Level 1, the level they chose, is equivalent in cost to tile, but just gives it a more warm feeling without grout lines. So
nice.
They went with that. They kept tile, which is a little bit more durable in other areas, so things like your utility room and things like that. But I mean, this vinyl plank is outselling tile at this point.
Oh yeah, a lot, and super durable. I see we have some tenants out here too. Some of they have roommates. It looks like.
Oh yeah, that's some of the cows.
And then, is this something that they did with you? This appears to be. These blinds done afterwards? Or these?
I think we got them side lights with mini blinds in them.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. Tell me about. So these these are between the panes of glass, right?
Right.
And
that's just a feature for privacy or when you want to let the light in. So that's another thing we do. We can also do those in French doors. If you have a French door going out to the back, we can do mini blinds between the panes of glass.
Yeah, which you slide this little up and down, and it'll open and close the blinds.
Yep, cool. That's it. And bring them up.
All right, now let's get to the part where people want to see a beautiful kitchen and family room area.
Okay, so here we're looking at painted cabinets, all the rage right now.
Yes, sir.
And then we're looking at what a lot of folks are doing, and we have in some of our models. The island cabinetry is a different color. It gives that kind of contrast.
Nice.
That people are looking for right now. They upgraded their appliance packages to get them the double wall oven or the oven microwave with a hood over the cooktop. They went with the standard granite that comes with all our homes as far as the countertops.
Beautiful.
They upgraded the faucet. That is a bronze faucet by Delta. We use Delta all the way through. Mm-hmm. We made sure to get them pendant lighting over the bar top there, which again is just a beautiful feature.
Sure.
LED lights that light up the entire kitchen. There's always a standard lighting plan for a home, but when folks ask to they want a football stadium sort of lighting in a particular area, and that's the way that we can customize it for them. We can also do dimmer switches, so maybe you don't always want it lit up like that. So we can put in dimmer switches to kind of bring that tone down and warm it up.
Nice. Another view of that kitchen. So they did looks like a subway tile on the backsplash as well.
Subway tile, which we have in multiple colors and sizes. That looks like a 3x6, if I remember correctly. We've also got 4x8s. We have mosaic tile, some of the really beautiful stuff supplied to us by Doll Tile. We have all the samples here. We are a one-stop shop. You don't have to go to 6 different stores to pick out your countertop here and your tile there and your lighting at another store. Here in Boerne, we're blessed by having an amazing color coordinator named Michaela, who spends 3 to 4 hours with these folks. putting their whole palette out on one gigantic table so they can see how it's all going to match up without having to wonder, and just working off of pictures as they visit several different stores. So that's just another feature that we offer here. Where
that's a great thing to point out, is that because having it all match up in one place is much more convenient than trying to tote tile samples and cabinet samples over here to the lighting store and then back to the plumbing store, and it's all done right there. And you're just a holler away if they need questions on some kind of pricing. So well said. Dawn, do we have any, we want to pause here for a little bit of questions, or?
Sure.
Okay.
All right. So our first question is from Tracy. She's asking if the plan can be adjusted to have a cathedral ceiling in the family room and to have that back porch covered.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. So they've done the cathedral ceiling kind of to the left and right in this one, but it can be done to where it goes front to back, and you can have a cathedral ceiling on the back porch if you want to as well, similar to the driftwood or the LaSalle.
Wonderful.
Great question. Thanks, Tracy.
And then Jesse is asking a question about the driftwood plan. If there'd be an option to have a pass-through fireplace that is open to both the family room and the master bedroom. So kind of having that two-sided fireplace.
What you got, JC?
I've had that question often. Now, when you talk about a pass-through fireplace, remember you also there's privacy issues. I mean, it's open between. You really want a hole in your wall between your family room and your bedroom. There may be some appliances out there that we can price where there may be some kind of baffle that you can open or close. Pass-through fireplaces are usually, as I've seen them, in the center of a family room or a large open area where you can see it from both sides. Maybe there's a flex room or on one side and you've got the family room on the other. I guess we could do it, but I always try to warn people that, do you really want a hole in your bedroom wall? If anytime other folks are going to be over there, they're going to be able to see right through into your bedroom.
It's a great point.
Good thing to think about.
But yes, we can absolutely, we've done them. We have pass-through fireplaces.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So Sweet Daisy is saying that she has property in College Station in King Oaks and is interested in a farmhouse style home. So we can definitely.
We've built numerous homes in King Oaks. Yeah, we love building in there. Great place.
Awesome. Three Little Bros have a follow-up question about their pool and boathouse. Knowing that we will not build it and it needs to be a third party, can we coordinate those to be all in one loan?
So yes, there's just one little caveat to that, and that is that the appraisal will need to support it all. So that's sometimes the only challenge. So it's got not necessarily anything to do with you being able to personally qualify from an income standpoint. But what it can do is that, there need to be other homes in the area that are comparable to that, so that the loan amount will support that level of an appraisal, or vice versa. So the appraisal amount will support that level of a loan. So as long as you have 10% equity into the total deal and the appraisal will support putting all those things in the loan, then absolutely no problem. That'll be the only challenge that you might run into in that situation, is being able to find comps in the area, because they get kind of tight. They need to have closed in the last 6 months, and they have to be comparable in size, and those people need to have also kind of borrowed money for pool, boathouse, all that kind of stuff. So as long as it supports it, we can do it.
Perfect.
I ran into one recently where really environmentally conscious person, she wanted to do a rainwater catchment system, and I connected her with a supplier who can do that. Great guy, has been working with us for years. The problem was we couldn't find comparable homes that had sold in the past 6 months that had rainwater catchment. So unfortunately, she's going to have to drill a well, because again, we couldn't find anything that was like the boathouse and the pool and everything else that had sold recently and pops up on the MLS and the listings. So we couldn't get her a true comp. Working with her lender and everybody else, we tried really hard, but again, now she's going to have to retool and go for a well rather than that rainwater. I think she's still going to do the rainwater, but she is going to have to now invest the money out of pocket to pay for the well.
And again, that's luckily with us, you're going to know that before you ever start construction. It's not going to like you're going to be in the construction and then we find out, oh, looks like you got to do something, you got to spend the money on this or on that, or, oh, you can't borrow for this. Like, we're going to have all those T's crossed and I's dotted before we ever head out to the job site and drive a nail. So you'll know exactly to the penny what you're going to be borrowing and what else is going to be included in the loan and what's not. So great thing to point that out.
Gilbert is asking about the estimated cost to add a garage onto this home or any other home plan.
Well, what do you got, JC?
It depends on the exterior. If it's stone or if it's brick or if it's hardy. Generally, you can start with a 2-car garage and around 30, 31. If it's a more fancy home, depends on ceiling height, you could get into $36,000, $37,000 for a 2-car garage.
Yeah.
Generally, and if you're looking at a 3-car garage, you generally figure $11,000 to $12,000 per stall is a good size point.
All right. Anna is asking if we have any pictures inside the pantry or what that space area was. I don't know if we have any pictures of that.
I think we do, but I do know that it is a walk-in pantry. Let me go back to the floor plan, and you can probably find one that's close.
It's roughly
it's a walk-in pantry, going to be just like the Parker or a lot of those other plans. So Don, any of those that we could, we have plenty of pictures of those, Anna, that we could share with you. It's a nice corner walk-in pantry. So probably 6 feet by 4 feet, 6 feet by 4.5 feet is about what it looks like to me.
All right, perfect.
What other questions do we have?
Let's see, Rebecca is asking if you can have a cathedral ceiling in the living room of the rock wall and still have that upstairs bonus room.
So actually, I believe
let's look
that you can. I think it's. I'm pulling it up.
I say that bonus room's over the garage. So
yeah, that bonus room's over the. It's over the kind of master closet. That's where the staircase comes up, the garage area. So yeah, you can still do a cathedral ceiling and in the rock wall. Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. And then Angelica is also asking about cathedral ceilings. Is the cost different for a cathedral porch versus a regular porch?
Yes.
What say you, JC? Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it is different. I mean, it's the framing, it's the work there. Cost for a cathedral ceiling is one thing. The most expensive piece of that is that beautiful, if you're looking at our driftwood, it's that beautiful porch truss in the rough sawn wood. That's where most of your cost is going to go. But it can be done, but you're probably looking at a few $1,000s more. Well, maybe depending on the size, the width, the depth, $5,000 to $10,000 more for a cathedral versus just a standard back porch.
Yeah, and that's good if you want that, like you saw, that truss that's coming across there, which is kind of the bulk of that cost. To do a cathedral ceiling in any of our rooms, including the porches, it's somewhere between, I think, $6 and $8 a square foot, something close to that. But that truss, which is what completes the look, really, that's where the cost is. Great question, Angelica. Thanks for asking.
Great. And then Ruth has a question about zip sheathing and whether we intend to use that in the future.
It's possible. We've used it in the past. And I've addressed this one before. There's more than one way to skin a cat, as they say. And so to achieve the energy ratings that are required to achieve, we tried all kinds of different materials. Anytime those updates come out, we try different ways to do it that are cost effective. We've used the zip sheathing. Advantech makes a great product. The challenge is really where we're building out in really rural areas. We don't typically have the luxury of having a concrete driveway already there or a concrete road, 25 feet away in front of the house. So the zip sheathing, one of the key components of that zip sheathing is the tape that tapes those seams together, and how it has to be kept clean, how it has to be applied, how it has to be rolled on there to meet their warranty. Otherwise, they won't warrant it. And so what we found was that in a much more controlled kind of environment, production subdivision, it's probably a lot easier to accommodate that on a real job site out on 20 acres in Victoria, Texas. It's got dirt and sand and that kind of stuff. It's just not a good solution because the tape doesn't typically get properly applied. Whereas the Tyvek that we go with, it's a much easier product to work with. The tape is a far superior product, in our opinion, to accommodate that. So that's where we've gone. But it's not to say we couldn't do it or couldn't use it. It's just it wasn't the best solution for our customers.
Okay, I think that makes sense. And then one last one before we jump back in.
Yeah.
Nate is asking how we handle customers wanting to add custom wiring for home audio systems or network cables.
That's a great question, and segue back to our picture that we've got up. So, JC, you can answer that one if you like, or I can answer it. But there's actually some.
Yeah, I mean, to start with, we include coaxial cable and Cat5 in all family rooms and bedrooms. So you're already pre-wired. When it comes to home audio systems, that's not something we're experts in, but you can coordinate. Hire an expert, whoever it is in the area who can handle that. You'll coordinate with your builder, like Ty, about the right time to have them come in and do that kind of wiring. It is critical to get it at the right phase so it doesn't interfere with the drywall. You don't want the poking holes in drywall that's already been put up. You don't want it to interfere with the insulation, because the insulation is going to be inspected and has to pass one of our tests before we can start putting up the drywall. But in this one,
yeah, they actually did do some pre-wire. I can see it up there. But yeah, basically during the frame stay, when the HVAC and the electrical and the plumbers are going in doing what we call our rough-ins, that would be the time, Nate, that you coordinate with your building superintendent. And if you had a home audio or some kind of custom wiring you wanted to do yourself, or you wanted a vendor to come in and do, all that we ask is that, of course, notify your building superintendent, because we want to be sure we don't have people on top of each other. But then also, they can't tap into any of our wiring. Not that they would, because it's typically going to be low voltage stuff, but they can't go splicing into one of our outlet wires to put a ceiling outlet for a projector or something. If you want something like that, just tell us and we'll handle our electrician getting the outlet done properly. But yeah, you can see these folks have wired for surround sound, so that's not abnormal. But I do love the beautiful windows of this, looking out on those oak trees. Look at that. It's killer.
It's gorgeous. And Sweet Daisy is asking if we can show the rest of this house. So that is what we are about to do.
Daisy, she got places to be and things to do.
She does.
No, let's go. So tell us about the drop zone here a little bit.
Drop zone, again, this is pretty much custom. That bench is something that doesn't come in a standard plan. We also adjusted the upper cabinetry so you could actually sit on the bench and not bump your head. The tables on either side for handling, or the countertops on either side. And again, you notice they went with two different color cabinets, which kind of gives it that pop and that contrast. They wanted to bring light into the room, but they didn't want a full glass door. So we went with the one light half door there, so they could still bring light in, but have some security. I'm sure they're probably going to put some kind of curtains or something up over that. They didn't choose to go with the mini blinds, which I'm sure we could handle too, if that's a concern.
Sure. Great. And then this is a little quick shot of the secondary bath. Again, this is like our standard granite countertops that we include in every home.
Right, which is different from the granite that they have out in the kitchen.
Oh, well, yeah.
And we do that all the time. You get a little bit of contrast, still with the white cabinets, which kind of tie the rest of the house in there. That's standard lighting in there. Depends on the width of the countertop. Mm-hmm. You either get a 3-light or a 4-light vanity light up over there. You've got some cabinetry in there for towels and whatever other medications or whatever you keep up in there. So it gives them that nice look. And a couple of drawers on either side of the vanity, the lavatory. The lavatories, this is a rectangular lavatory. We also do the oval. It's all together. They're both the same price. Master bath, okay. Again, beautiful white cabinets, contrasting countertops, rectangular sinks. The gentleman's vanity is 6 inches or so higher than the ladies' side of it. Or we could do the entire vanity up higher like that. It depends on how tall you are and what makes you comfortable. We can always.
And going back to Melanie's question, we could do a knee space area like this outside the bathroom. And I think my wife should come to that request. You don't want the humidity and all that while you're trying to do your hair and makeup. I know when I'm doing my hair, I do not like having humidity everywhere. It's a big problem.
It's a huge problem for you.
And tell us about the shower that they did.
Yeah, I mean, the shower is pretty much the standard shower in a Nottingham. It is a walk-in shower. There's no glass door, but we could put a glass door in there. That shower is large enough so that you can actually, take a shower in there, and you're not going to have a whole lot of splash over into the bathroom floor.
Brilliant. And these are some more pictures that they shared with us that now they've been out there a little bit. Just some beautiful touches.
It's a beautiful piece of property.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It's so pretty out there.
Really, really pretty. All right. So, folks, we are here to answer all of your questions. We got JC on the main line. We got Eric. We got Dawn. Ideally, but with the three of us, I think we got a fighting chance of getting your questions answered. Do we have any other questions that we can help?
We do. Ashley is asking about VA home loans.
Fire away, JC.
Yep, absolutely. We have trusted lenders who handle VA all the time. I'm a vet myself, between AMCAP or CMG Financial, they handle VA loans for us all the time. It's a process we build to VA standards. Also, yeah. You have a little bit of a different warranty package that VA requires, but we will pass all of their requirements. That is just standard what we do all day, every day.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Ashley.
Eric, Lupe is saying she likes the cathedral porch behind your left shoulder. So.
Yeah, so that's the LaSalle model home over in Huntsville, Texas, in Texas Grand Ranch. So very, very similar to the Driftwood,
the
Cypress, and of course we've done it. We have options to do it in a lot of our houses, but
yeah, we can do it basically on just about any home. It's just a matter of working out the geometry and working with drafting to make that happen.
Sure.
Wonderful. Jennifer is asking if the septic system is included in the cost.
So it depends on where you're looking at pricing. If you've gotten pricing for one of our design centers and you've indicated that you want to include the septic, then of course it would. If you're looking at the website where we just have the base pricing by county, kind of a range there, that pricing does not include the septic because not all customers need a septic system. Some folks have access to public utilities. So if you need a septic system, the best thing to do is to get with your local design center so that we can get you a price specific to your county, because it does vary across the state. So septic systems where JC is out in Boerne, Texas, cost more than septic systems, for instance, where I am here in just south of Montgomery County, Texas. So there's a little bit of a difference across the state. So, great question. Thanks, Jennifer.
Okay. And then Francis has a question about whether we can build in places where other builders are building already, or do we only build when the person buys the land first?
So yeah, I think you answered the question at the end. You do have to own the property somewhere. Now there are subdivisions that sell lots to the end user, to you, the homeowner. In a case like that, we absolutely could build there. But if it's like a production subdivision that you see a bunch of production houses going in and that just their models, typically speaking, that's not an area that we're going to build. We're going to build on places where you can buy land, even if it's a subdivision, but buy land sold to the end user where you can bring your own builder. That's a great question you can ask them when you go in is, are we allowed to bring our own builder in? And that will answer the question real quick.
All right, awesome. And then Vanessa has a question. Her husband builds commercial building pads for a living. They're in Guadalupe County, which has black clay dirt. He would like to excavate 3 feet or so to solid ground and then install 4 feet of limestone base for the foundation pad. Can he do this, have the density test done to ensure it is properly installed and stable, and then we could come have our concrete contractor put the beams forms on top of that?
Okay, you're definitely going down the right road, Vanessa. So certainly what we probably want to do in short, instead of getting too specific in how we're going to handle that, we would definitely want to team up with our engineer after we do a soil analysis, a geotechnical investigation, so that we know exactly what type of soil. Because there may be a case where they say you need to excavate 5 feet, not 3 feet. Or they may say, hey, you don't need to excavate 2 feet. You don't need to do all that. So I would before you spend any money doing anything, I would certainly loop whatever builder you're going to use, loop that builder's engineer in, because the builder and the engineer by law have to warrant that foundation for 10 years. That's the rules. So they're going to want to be heavily involved in that. And then what we probably want to do is sit down with your husband and find out, you and your husband, find out what all kind of experience in construction and things like that have been done. And because again, they'll be joining in that warranty. I'm not going to say it's impossible. It would be very, very rare that we would let the homeowner handle their own excavation and compacted pad. sounds like he knows what's going on. Ask, for the compaction test, it's done in 6 to 8 inch lifts, and you test every layer. So it's something we want to look at on a case by case basis, but definitely loop the engineer in.
Okay, that makes sense. And Cornell is asking if they can use a VA loan in conjunction with our no construction loan program.
What do you say, Jason?
100%, yes. Yeah, again, we don't have any kind of construction loan. We have, the Tilson family and the Allerids and everybody have managed to set up what I call a money machine. We're building 200 homes probably today. A bunch of those homes are going to close. We've already paid the bills, whatever profits left over. The rest of the money goes into the homes we're going to start tomorrow. So we don't have to borrow the money from anybody. There's no interest charge. We don't have to pass that cost on to you. And the VA loan is something that our trusted lenders can handle for you, Cornell.
And Cornell, if you want to share some of the recipes for the sheep's head you're holding there in the picture, I'll be all ears to hear that. Are you cooking them up?
Okay. Colleen is asking our approximate price per square foot. What say you?
Well, we don't have one. JC, what do you got, sir? Answer this the correct way. There's an answer for this, Colleen. So thank you for asking this question. It's a great question.
Yeah, so all square footage isn't created equal. Our most modest homes are as low as, say, $105 to $110 a square foot. You're looking at 9-foot ceilings, and that just is what it is. Simpler appliance packages. In our premier series of homes, you're getting up into the 130s to 140s a square foot, but you're seeing 10-foot ceilings, 8-foot tall doors, fancier appliance packages, cathedral porches, and living rooms. You're seeing tray ceilings in places like the bedrooms or the dining area. So the price per square foot is going to vary on how fancy you are. I've seen people take a $200,000 house and turn it into a $300,000 house. So again, the pricing per square foot went from 120 a square foot to 140 a square foot because of the upgrades and the things that you want to have in your home. It's about lifestyle and your preferences. What do you want to see in there? So you're going to dictate the square foot price of your home in the end.
Yeah, Colleen, the reality is there is no set price per square foot. We don't use price per square foot on overall cost of homes. We used upfront contract pricing. And the reason for that is, I can take 2,000 square foot homes, the Nottingham and maybe the Frio, put them side by side. They're within 3 square feet of being the exact same size house, and they could be $20 a square foot different. And it has nothing to do with, it's the same cabinet, same countertops, same sheetrock, same light fixtures, all that. It has to do with design. It has to do how much porch is included, and when you're shopping by square foot, I'd highly caution you against doing that, because some builders will put the total slab area in the square foot they're dividing it by, which falsely deflates the price per square foot. Some will put the garage, some will put the porch, some will not. And price per square foot is just a very, very misleading way. It's like asking how much a car costs per pound or how much a cheeseburger costs per ounce. It's only a house is infinitely more complicated than either of those things. So I would say find the design that you like, and that design and then the features that go in that are going to impact the price per square foot more than anything. But I would not shop based on price per square foot. That can be a very dangerous situation that can be tricky for a consumer.
Absolutely. All right, let's see. Jennifer is asking if we have any real examples or pictures of the Oxford plan. We do have some pictures of the Oxford up on the website, so we'll drop that link for you in the comments, and you can see some photos of that home in our gallery there.
Thanks, Dawn.
Yes. Vanessa is asking for the Fayetteville if they don't want the masonry on the outside and just did all board and batten. Do we know approximately what that credit would be?
Yeah, I'm not going to have that prepared. It'd take a little bit of time to calculate that. We'd have to credit the masonry by the square foot, but suffice to say there would be a credit, and it would be in the low to mid 4 figures probably, if I had to guess. So, but there would be a 4-figure credit for sure. Thanks for asking.
Sounds good.
Yeah, your local design, I don't know if you're working with a consultant now or if you want to set up a time to visit with JC. He could absolutely give you dollar for dollar exactly what that credit would be. So it's just for the sake of time.
Yeah, I recently did that on a San Antonio plan. Basically, we credited out all of the brick that was on the base model and replaced it all with board and batten. You're looking at about if it's brick, you're looking at about a $5 or $6 per square foot difference lower for board and batten than you are with brick, and probably $10 difference when if you're taking stone off something like the Fayetteville.
Yeah, and that's on the surface area, but we gotta take out for windows and doors and that, and so we want to get that accurate. But yes, we can do that, Vanessa.
Okay, perfect. Elaine is saying they're looking at purchasing about 10 acres of land. The street has a couple of trailer homes in a 1 to 2 mile radius. Does this affect the property value?
Well, Elaine, I think you know the answer to that question by giving that much detail. But JC, answer that question. And Elaine, thank you for asking. That's an awesome question.
Hey, Elaine. So yes, it is. I have a family right now that we went all out on a beautiful home, but the appraisal value in that county didn't support a home that was that fancy. And it's a nice little neighborhood, but it does have mobile homes are allowed in the restrictions. So in that county, the lender, the appraiser could not find comps that would support lending them that much money to build a house. So they did have to retool, and they had to get rid of some of the fancy stuff because they didn't have the cash reserves to pay for the fancy stuff on top of what the lender was able to qualify. These people made great money. They have great jobs. So they qualified for $400,000 worth of loan based on their income, but the comps in the area didn't support a $400,000 house. Right.
So it's something to add. And I'm glad you pointed that out, JC. And Elaine, thanks for asking again. It's not that you can't build the home anyway. It's just that you will likely have to come up with cash out of pocket to look at the difference, because a lender, just keep in mind, they're actually an investor, and that they're investing in you in the perpetuity of the payments. And to secure that investment, they have the home on the land that is the security. And so they have to look at it from the standpoint that if, God forbid, something happened to you guys and they ended up with that house, could they resell it and recoup their investment? It's got nothing to do with what they think about the area. It's got nothing to do with what they think about y'all. It simply has to do with the preservation of capital. And they have shareholders to answer to, or a bank board to answer to. If it's a credit union, they have members to answer to, like people like you and me, that we don't expect them to make bad decisions on investments. So you could still make up the difference in the form of a down payment if you want to do something like that. And it's actually not to say just because there's a couple of trailer homes doesn't mean it won't support it. It may very well. There may be other homes that are 2,000 and 3,000 and 4,000 square feet, stone and brick custom homes on slab that have also been built. And so it'll all depend on what's closed most recently, because that kind of indicates the trend of where that area is headed from a value standpoint. So that's another way. It could be an area of transition.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then Elaine has another question. Do we have any advice of what to look for when purchasing property?
We have lots of advice that probably could be its own Facebook Live all by itself. Elaine, I'd encourage you to reach out directly to one of our sales consultants and walk through that. But I mean, the big ones are going to be floodplain. I'd advise it be out of the floodplain if at all possible. I'd advise that you get a survey with boundaries and all corners located and all easements shown. So any pipeline easements, those kind of things. And obviously 100% of the time you need to get a title policy, close at a title company. So you can get a title commitment ahead of that. It costs nothing to get a title commitment on a piece of property. They just need legal description. And you can have an examiner or a title company examine that title and tell you if you got clear title. So you want good title, you want a good survey that doesn't have a pipeline run across where you want to build your house that you can't see, and you want it out of the floodplain if at all possible. Anything you would add to that in brief, JC?
Yeah, again, it's really important. The land is going to be the most important investment, and you need to know everything you can about it before you commit your hard-earned dollars to that. I had a family several years ago that bought a beautiful 5-acre piece of property, accepted I think an 18-year-old survey. What they didn't know was that the Lower Colorado River Authority had an easement running right through the center of that 5-acre property, right where they wanted to put the house. And they didn't discover that until we insisted on a new survey, and boom, there it was. So always protect yourself, protect your family by getting a new survey. and insisting on that. Also, up here in the hill country, elevation is just how the land slopes. You've seen how homes out here with 5, 6, 8 feet of concrete on one side. That is an upgrade. That could be an extra $20,000 to $50,000. The most extreme example I've seen is an added $60,000 on the price of the house, because again, the way the land slopes, that's what we had to do to build that house on that piece of property. So, do your investigation, look at the homes in the area, walk the property, make your realtor earn their commission. Because you also have to consider things like, is there water? Are you going to have to drill a well? Is there municipal water? Electric, is there an electric line there? Or are you going to have to pay the local electric company an extra $10,000, $15,000 to run electric line out to the property? So
Great point.
you need to do your homework on the land before you commit to it, because there are costs in there. Even things like driveway. If you're building in a neighborhood that requires a 100-foot setback, that's 100 feet with a driveway you're going to have to figure into your bottom line cost, versus 25 or 50 in some neighborhoods or municipal lots. So there's a lot of homework. And if you come into the office, we can walk you through that. I talk to families all the time. They're looking at a piece of property, and we're experts. We help them analyze that. If I don't know an answer, I'm looking at something, I've got 30, 40, 50 years worth of experience here in the office that I can at least advise you what I see. We can't ever tell you whether or not to commit to a piece of property. That's just something we can't be liable for. But we can open your eyes to what we see about that property. That's what we do. Whatever your profession is, you're a professional in that. We're professionals in this.
Great point.
Yeah, great
What
point.
other questions we got?
Nancy is asking how much approximately a 2-car carport would cost.
It's going to be about the same as a garage. So you're going to be looking at usually somewhere around the $30,000 range. It's going to get you very, very close to carport, porte-cochere.
Okay. Becky is asking if there's earnest money up front to start everything going, and what can they expect to pay in closing costs?
Great question, Becky. We actually don't call it earnest money. It is not earnest money. Earnest money you can insure and get back. What we require is a $1,500, which is minimal, non-refundable deposit. So the deposit you put with us is non-refundable, which is different from earnest money from a legal standpoint, from a real estate standpoint. But it sounds similar. So $1,500 deposit up front to get the process going, and then in closing costs, JC, I usually tell people to budget about 3.5%.
Right. It depends on how much home you're buying. The loan amount sets that closing cost. Sometimes on modest homes, closing costs are only about maybe $6,000 to $8,000 on bigger homes, and VA, because you have to have that buy-in fee and everything else, it could be more. You don't have to pay PMI with a VA loan, but the closing costs are generally about they could be up to 10% higher than it would be with a conventional loan.
That's a great point. Yeah. So it varies based on the lender and the program that you're going with, but I would budget around 3.5%, and then the beautiful part is they will give you a very accurate estimate up front before we even start construction to know what the closing costs are going to be.
Plus, your $1,500 deposit is credited to closing costs.
That's right, JC. Well said, sir. Well said.
Good.
Perfect.
You only don't get it back if you don't end up building with us for some reason.
Right.
Great. Yeah, it is refunded to you at closing.
Okay, perfect. Julio is asking, he hears the word sales consultant, design consultants. Are they the same? And who is he going to talk to at a design center?
Yes, and yes.
Yes.
We kind of use the terms interchangeably. But they are, because they do sit down and do the home design with you. So JC would sit there. He has a scale. He has a red pen. He has a full scale set of plans, 1/8 scale plans template, and he's going to white out walls. He's going to draw the commodes. He's going to, all that's going to be done while he's sitting there in front of you, so they can do as much as possible. There's some stuff we'll have to get feedback on, but yes. And then when you actually do your color selections, you would be with somebody else. Not to say that JC could not pick gorgeous colors. I'm sure he could.
The my Fox match, I'm having a good day. But you can see, but this is what we do. We take a base plan and then we go at it with red pens, white out, the custom options. I spent 5 hours with this particular family yesterday, customizing the plan and making the changes, bumping walls out, adding porch. That's what we do. You do it right here at the desk with us. You invest that time with us to make the house yours.
It's kind of one of those, the other side of being such an old company, we kind of all of us use different words to mean different things, and we change the words over time. Some of us hold on to the old word.
That's right.
So that's what you're seeing there. Rachel is asking if the roofs can be upgraded to metal versus the standard shingles.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, it can.
Yep, there is a
Galvalume and colored metal. We've done both. We also have upgrades of shingles. So there's different levels of shingles if you want to, if depending on what you're really trying to achieve. But in short, yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Vanessa is asking about the Canyon Elevation C. They want to add the bonus room, but also want a fireplace on the wall facing the covered porch. Is that a possibility or not because of that upstairs bonus space?
Well, let's look at it real quick. I believe that we can probably still do, because I don't think that the bonus room, it certainly doesn't go beyond where the master bedroom is. So, yeah, I believe we could still do a fireplace. It probably is going to need to be a gas, but yeah, no, I think you can still do a fireplace. You probably lose there's like a middle window that typically comes in that bonus room space. You'd probably lose that middle window because that's where the chimney is going to go up. But yeah, here we go.
Tracy is asking, how much in advance of breaking ground should we begin working with a design consultant?
Right now, we're telling people that it's going to take about 1 year contract to keys. Okay, so that's post all of the design work. I've had families who have worked with me for a year or 2 years ahead of actually signing a contract. You're welcome to come into the office at any point in time and start working on the dream with me. Pricing is going to vary year to year, but anytime you want to come in and start looking at it, again, like the family that I spent 5 hours with yesterday, we just need to sit down, look at the home you want, start working on that. First home I sold here 5 years ago, that family had been coming in for 6 years prior to meeting me before they actually committed to it. I just sold one to a family that is in the pre-construction phase, where Roddy was working with Pat, my boss, 10 years ago. And he just retired this year, and they pulled the trigger on the home. They've got the land, they had everything just kind of ready to go. But Tracy, whenever you're ready to come in and start looking at it and working with one of us, please come on in.
And Tracy, to help put a little bit of that in perspective, maybe to further that explanation, you don't come in and sit down with a design consultant, and even if you sign a contract the same day, which is rare, but it has happened, we're not going to run out tomorrow and break ground. I mean, when you sign a contract with us and pick out which house you want to do after you've done, kind of this discovery phase of changes and get the pricing all set, and then are ready to do that $1,500 deposit, enter into an agreement, then you're still looking at least 3, some people 6 months, depending on where, of upfront paperwork. So the permitting, the soil testing, the septic design, color selections, all that is happening after the $1,500 deposit is done. Even though you still have some sketches done with the design consultant or sales consultant, there's a lot of upfront legwork that has to be done at the county, subdivision, city, engineering, site level, that before we break ground. So once we break ground, it's about 6-7 months of actual construction. But prior to that, it could be 4 to 6 months of upfront paperwork. And so it really kind of depends on how decisive y'all are, which plan you're looking at. But it's not you go sign a contract with a consultant and then we run out and set forms the next day or the next week or even the next month. So call your local design center, make an appointment, and they'll give you an accurate time frame.
Perfect. Quentin is asking if the cost of the initial access road and utilities can be added into the construction cost.
Yes, it can. It can. Great question. We certainly can do that. It's very site specific, so we'd want to get exactly your area and do that. So yes.
Okay. Vanessa has a follow-up question on the Canyon. Can the half bath upstairs be turned into a full bath with a 3x3 shower? I'm trying to decide if they can put their children upstairs.
Well, they can bathe in a pedestal sink, Vanessa. I mean,
They're boys.
JC, yeah, if they bathe, it's a bonus anyway. If they're boys, out in the middle of free. But yeah, JC had it right. We absolutely can do that. But it sounds like, Vanessa, you need to be in JC's office or somewhere in San Marcos with a consultant. You're past the Facebook stage for sure. Thanks for asking. That's a great question.
All right. And then let's see. Terry is asking about the cost for a 1,400 square foot with 2-car garage.
Well, so we've got a couple of plans that fit that. One that comes to mind, probably how big is the Velasco? Is it pretty close to that?
13 plus.
And it's going to depend on what county you're actually building in. So the costs do vary by county. So yeah, the Velasco is about 1,330 feet, and somewhere outside, let's say Atascosa County, somewhere out there, you're about 170. Get you real close. But great question. Well, now the car garage would be about another 30,000, so about 200. Get you pretty close.
All right, perfect. And then we do have one question. Somebody's asking about that help with their HVAC system. I'm not going to post it because they put their phone number in there. We will get in touch. We'll get in touch with you.
We will get in touch with you. Yes, absolutely.
Terry says building in Fort Bend.
It'd be a little less than Atascosa, although not a whole lot, because in Fort Bend we actually have to build it taller. So your slab would be a little bit higher in Fort Bend County. They have a pretty stiff 18-inch above natural ground requirement, I believe. So because they're flat, so Atascosa doesn't have a problem with shedding water. They've got that figured out down there in JC's neck of the woods. Okay, well, hey, everybody, thank y'all so much for joining us today. This has been awesome. JC, thank you. Appreciate your time, man. I know it's valuable right now. You are wall-to-wall booked. So, guys, if y'all want to set an appointment, reach out to our online sales team or reach out to the Boerne location. We'd be happy to set an appointment for you to answer these questions further. Dawn, thank you.
Thank you, Dawn,
for organizing this. Appreciate it. And thank you to the Canales family for letting us share your vision and for sharing your story with us and inviting us to be part of this journey with you. We really, really appreciate that. And so until next time, we can't wait.